African gourd thick.
Yeah.
You can kind of see it. This is the studio. I was just starting to show you a picture of my husband building this. He took a year off of work to build me my dream studio.
Wow.
And in the cupola, I don't know if you can, how big it is on
Oh,
your
the
screen,
gourd.
but
Yeah.
see there's a gourd light up there.
We can see it, yeah.
All right. Well,
There's
that
a rainbow.
was that?
You've got a rainbow there too.
Yeah, you
And
got
a rainbow, exactly. And that gourd growing, the gourd in the cupola is an African wine kettle gourd. It's, oh, can you see this?
Yes.
Wow, this is
It's about as big as this gourd. It's, like I said, it's called an African wine kettle. And we grew that gourd the very first year that we grew gourds. We had beginner's luck for sure.
Wow.
You
It's
mean
really
you were
nice.
able to grow it the first year, but not the second?
We've grown them other years, but that first, okay, so I'll tell you this story. So the year before, I had met gourds and fallen in love with gourds, which is another story. But so I wanted to grow some gourds, and people gave me seeds. I got seeds from a couple of different places, and one person gave me some African wine kettle seeds, and they look like pecan heads. They're so big. They're really that big and convoluted, and I was so excited about African wine kettle gourd seeds. And I put all of the different seeds in the pots, and they all came up within a week or two, like they should, except the pots that had the African wine kettle seeds, and I was really disappointed. And I waited 2 weeks, I waited 3 weeks. After 3.5 weeks, I thought, oh, they were just duds. And I threw them outside into a compost pile.
Famous last words.
And that's what happened. So that's why I say it was really beginner's luck.
Now you can
This is-
share stories
Oh,
with people who've
wow.
thrown stuff into compost piles. Those are gorgeous.
yeah.
Yep, those are, lamps are my favorite thing to make. Here's some other things that I make.
Oh, I love the blowfish.
That's another piñata.
Oh, it
Huh.
is? Okay.
There's a gourd clock,
What? Oh my word.
and that's Otto wearing a mask. That's the toilet paper hanger at Gourdlandia. The hard shell gourds that I'm growing are, this is the name, Lagenaria ciceraria. They're sometimes called bottle gourds, hard shelled gourds, white flower gourds. People call them all different names. This is what they're not. Because a lot of times when people think about gourds, they're just thinking about the ornamentals. And these will dry unless they've been waxed, but they're very thin and you can't do a whole lot with them. It's a whole different flower. It's got one of the things that distinguishes the hard shell gourds that I'm working with from all of the other squash family, the cucurbits, is that it's the only one that has a little white flower that blooms, and the flower gets one night only. It blooms at night, and each one only gets one night. So it's really this sort of mysterious. It feels very exotic to me. And every night in July and in the first week of August, Otto and I are out there with our headlamps and our paintbrushes, and we're going from the males to the females pollinating.
Is there a natural pollinator, like a moth or something?
Moths will pollinate. The cucumber beetles, which are prolific, are eating the pollen, so that's a problem. But yeah, the nighttime pollinators aren't numerous enough. I mean, you'll still get gourds if you don't hand pollinate, but you won't get as good a crop. And you know what? The people at the Gourd Society were telling me this for years before I believed them. And now I think, I should have been doing this all along, because I think you get not only more gourds, but more beautiful gourds. If a gourd is well pollinated, like all of the different sections inside it have got good seeds, the gourd itself will be more uniform and beautiful.
How do you
Also,
make sure they're well pollinated?
Well, we pollinate. And you know what? There are some things that I don't understand about pollination, because we can go out there and pollinate and the conditions seem great. It's not too wet or anything like that. And then we go back and for some reason it didn't take. So I would say hand pollinating seems to help, and it's definitely, there are aspects of it that I don't quite understand. So that's a good question.
Some plants I've grown, I was told to use a toothbrush. I mean, a an artist brush.
That's what
And
we
it
do,
would-
paintbrushes. Some people just dust, they just take the male flower and just dust the female flower with it, but we use paintbrushes. I feel like I can be more thorough that way.
Yeah, little paintbrushes work
Yep.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you tell the difference between the male and the female flowers?
I got some pictures coming up.
Okay.
Oh, these are the tendrils. So
Ooh.
you can see the little hairs on the tendrils. They're so cool.
Oh,
So
yeah.
these are so strong. The tendrils of the gourd plant are strong enough that the gourds that are hanging on the vine, we've grown some gourds that were 25 pounds, hanging on the vine just fine. And these tendrils, like we can
Oh.
see next year. But you can see a little reverse twist in the center of each one.
Mm,
You see that?
yeah.
Because of the way, okay, so if you look at it, it's like a phone cord, but it's going the wrong way in the middle.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that has to do with the way they work, the way they grab on.
Huh.
Okay, so yeah, male and female flowers. These are all female flowers. It looks, oh no, the one on the far left is a male. And you can also tell, not just by what the middle of it looks like, but the female flowers are kind of lower and like they're a little hidden. You have to look for them. And the males are standing straight up on their stalks like that. It's kind of interesting. And the female flowers, the best way to tell for sure is that the female flowers have, I'm pointing at this, I don't suppose you can see. They have little embryonic fruit just behind the blossom. So before it even opens up in that upper left-hand photo, you can still see the hint of what the gourd will look like. See that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then the next photo to the right there is, you can see that's a dipper gourd, I believe. And it's just then opening up. And then you can see the male flower, and then the female's got the pistil that stands up. And the middle one is not pollinated yet, and the one on the right we have pollinated. Tell me if I'm getting to be in too much detail for you. Oh yeah.
No, you're doing great.
All right, thanks. So gourd, that's an African wine kettle in the back. And then from left to right, that's an Indonesian bottle, a Tarahumara canteen, and I can't see what that one is down there. And then that's a Mexican bottle on the far right and a Chinese bottle in front of it. So the reason I wanted to tell you the names of these gourds is because I just think it's interesting that gourds have gotten all over the world, and have been all over the world for so long, and carry the identities, the shapes. Why did people in Indonesia want this one with the round ball at the end? I just think it's fascinating.
What's the scale of that picture?
Well, that African wine kettle is pretty much the same size as that one I showed you.
Oh, okay.
It's
Okay.
about 2 feet tall, 2 or 3, 2.5 feet tall. So this is just a slide that I chose because one of the ancient uses for gourds was to float fishing nets. And they started in Africa about 60,000 years ago, but people have been using them for about 25,000 years. And yeah, keeping the fishing nets suspended in the water was one of the earliest uses. What are these called? Mastodons. Mastodons were dispersing the gourds all over North America. So this is just shows you a little bit about the taxonomy of gourds. And vessels.
Oh.
People have been carrying things in gourds since the beginning, since people first started working with gourds, which was about the same time that we were growing grains, starting to grow and cultivate, amaranth and all that. And
What variety of gourds are those in the picture?
you know what? I'm not entirely sure. They might be African wine kettles, a slightly different shape. But they're pretty heavy. This is a Hawaiian guy with gourds, and just some examples of some primitive vessels you can make.
That's how you ought
It's-
to advertise these things. You know, they are a great substitute for the plasticware that a lot of people buy.
Exactly.
There's a thought. Hmm.
People eat gourds. People, like, I have some friends from Southeast Asia who love to eat gourds. People often come here to Gourdlandia, and it's one of the first questions that I get: can you eat them? And I guess that's natural for who we are, right? We always want to know if we can eat something. But honestly, my answer is usually like, okay, and just in the cucurbit family, you have watermelon, you have cucumbers, you have winter squash, you have all these great different things you can eat. You've got one that you can make a lamp
You can eat, well, you can
But
eat
wait,
bitter
wait,
gourds.
what's
Do
the
they make
answer?
decent lamps?
What's that?
You can eat bitter gourds. Do they make decent lamps?
I'm not sure if bitter gourds do make lamps or not. I don't think they're not the same. They're different. I think they have a thin shell. I believe that you can't do that. Yeah. But you're right. I mean, actually, a lot of people call the squash family the gourd family. It's the,
So wait, so you cannot eat a gourd usually, is that it?
you can eat it when it's little.
Little, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some people use them. They're used in Ayurvedic medicine. They make me sick when I try to eat them.
They make what?
They make me ill when I've tried to eat them. Oh, these are links. I don't think we'll do them now, but they'll to gourd music. If somebody wants, I guess I could link it, but that is gourd banjo. Oh yeah, gourd juice, gourd calabash. Calabash is another word that people use when they're talking about gourds sometimes. Martin House gourd. So the Martin House gourd is this one, like a pear-shaped gourd,
Mm.
and it's the name Martin House because the Native Americans would drill a little hole in it, somehow make a little hole in it, hang from the trees to attract the purple martins, and that would keep the mosquito population down.
Oh, whoa. That's a good thing to know.
Yeah. Used to
Turkish
be a
lamp.
nice country home wasn't a home without a Martin house.
Great. I'm not the only gourd lamp maker in the world. There are thousands.
Wow.
I have a Facebook page for Gourdlandia, and I would say probably a quarter of the followers on my page are Turkish. So I guess they want to see what the American gourd lamp maker is doing. But these are Turkish lamps, aren't they beautiful?
Wow.
Beautiful.
Pretty.
Oh, penis shields.
Huh?
Yes, gourds have been
More than a
used forever.
shield, right?
Penis enhancers, I don't know what they are. This is oh gosh, I can't remember how old this is, but you can kind of see there's this religious icon down there is on that gourd, and it's like thousands of years old. So they've been used for religious icons as well. And speaking of ceremony, that's me back 10 and a half years ago. That's the back of my head on our wedding day. Gourds at a gourd festival down in Arizona. Okay, so when people think about gourd art, this is a picture, I don't know who made it, but this is kind of, what a lot of people think of Santa Claus and snowman and stuff like that. And I like to just show people that you can do so much with gourds. This is
Wow.
Bonnie Gibson made this, and this is Serena Kovalovsky in New York City.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
There's a woman down, I can't remember where she is, down in the Southwest somewhere, Betty Finch, who makes this kind of work. And I just am so intrigued by it. I think it's lovely.
Oh.
Yeah, so there's this whole society of us, and every year they have the manipulated gourd competition. And we won one year with this gourd that's second from the right. This is what they're doing with manipulated gourds in China.
Wow.
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 These are gourds. So yeah, they're switching now to growing gourds. And I don't know if any of you are interested in growing gourds, but this is how they start out with it. When I start the seeds, I start them outside of the soil now and put them in a pot once they've proven themselves.
That way you can watch them.
It's fun. And then they laugh when they come up and almost hear. This is just, I plant the seeds, the seedlings under row cover to keep them protected from cucumber beetles for a while. But you can see how far apart these plants are. So they're roughly every 6 to 8 feet, maybe 10 feet in some spots. And then, so our whole area here, which isn't very big, is between 20 and 30 plants. But it's always by, mid-July, it's a sea of green, even though the plants are that far apart. Oh, there's my foe.
Oh, potato beetle.
Yeah, it's a cucumber beetle.
Oh, the cucumber, okay.
Do they pollinate or do they just eat?
They eat it. Their backs are too shiny to carry a lot of pollen. They're eating it. Little buggers. Okay, the vines grow so fast. They grow so fast. I have actually sat and stared at a vine thinking I've got to be able to actually watch it grow. And they'll grow 6 to 10 inches in a day.
Oh, my.
Hey, just curious, back to the cucumber beetle. Do you use pesticides or anything?
No, I'm trying to do it organically. And every year I talk with people up at Cornell and I say, is there anything new, anything I can try? What should I be doing? And I haven't come up with, they always just commiserate. Oh, it's really hard to control cucumber beetles organically.
Do you manually pick them when, like?
We manually pick them. We get, we've gotten 1,000 a night.
Wow.
I don't count every single one, but as far as I can see, it's about 1,000 a night.
Hey, have you ever had a cucumber beetle picking party?
That's a great idea.
That's a mouthful.
I'm gonna try, this year I've got a few things I'm gonna try. And one of them is, I think I wanna make a thing called an insectary strip. It's basically just, nearby wildflowers to attract more diversity in one part insect population.
Oh, they say black knapweed is good for that.
Black milkweed?
No, it's a purplish flowered plant that grows by the edge of the road where the hay trucks go through. They drop the seed. And it was introduced originally by beekeepers who wanted something for the bees to drink that wasn't full of pesticide. They say most of Europe's honey is made from that.
What's the name of it again?
I think it's either called black knapweed or black knotweed, but the flower is actually purplish.
Okay, interesting. This is just some pictures of gourds growing and drying, starting to dry. The little spots are just as the gourd starts to dry. This is one of the harvests one year. This is just behind the building here. Gourds dry even in the snow. Now we keep them in this shed, but before we had a shed, I just put them out in the snow and they dry just fine. Here we are washing the gourds and in the lake, but usually I wash them in a little big trough I have. And there they are all cleaned, hair is combed, ready for bed. They're gonna watch movies.
You're all watching television.
This is just a picture of the seeds inside the gourd, ready to start the whole process again.
Oh, that's what they are.
Yeah, those are seeds. And that's Otto and me behind the 2 biggest gourds that we ever grew. This one on the, I can't remember which is which. One was 124 and the other was 140 pounds.
Wow.
What was the biggest one that you ever grew and what kind was it?
It's the name of the variety is bushel 100 plus bushel gourd, meaning more than 100 pounds. We're in the grade. Okay, this is what I did with those 2 bushel gourds. I didn't know what I was going to do with them. I was concerned because they're too big for like a floor lamp. Like I do make floor lamps, but these seemed like really too big for that. And I was kind of a little bit like, it was a little bit of a dilemma. I grew these beautiful gourds and not only were they, they weren't wonky like great big pumpkins can get, they were a good shape and they were thick enough. I was very excited about them, but then, what the heck am I going to do with them? And a woman came to me just like a couple weeks after I'm starting to think, what the heck am I going to do with these gourds? And she wanted a chandelier for her new house. And then she decided she wanted one in the cupola. So the two gourds I made into these lamps, and they got to stay together in the same house. This was the biggest. This is when I decided I'm really pushing the limits of vegetables as home decor. Ta-da! That's me. I don't like to waste anything, so every time I make a lamp, I save that part that I cut out underneath the shade, and that's what I do. I made these bigs.
Why not? Waste not, want not.
So let's see. One thing, can you see me now? You saw me before too, right?
Yep.
I always like to explain to people about what the gourds look like when they're drying. They look nasty. Everybody thinks I'm losing my crop. So I always like to take the time to explain to people that the gourds just go through this very awkward phase. And it's just, so when we harvest them in October, they're heavy. They're green. They're like a dark, sometimes pale green, sometimes dark green. But they're heavy like watermelons, like heavier than winter squash. And then the skin is just green and maybe a few spots on it. But then all winter long, that water goes out through the shell. And then in the springtime, you can hear it rattle because it's got dry seeds in it. And the skin of the gourd is just very thin, and you can wash that off. And then underneath it, where the gourd was, where the mold was, you get the beautiful markings on the gourd. You see that okay?
Yeah.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
The contrast is great.
Yeah. So if you ever grow gourds, don't throw them away just because they start to look nasty. I heard about a farmer who plowed under a whole field of gourds because it was the first time he grew them, and he didn't realize that this was the process. And so many people come to me at shows and say, oh, I tried to grow gourds and then they all rotted. So that's why now everybody knows they're not rotting. Then I add a stain and a wax to shine them up a little bit. And you can still see the modeling.
So the modeling is completely the result of the mold.
That's right.
Okay.
In fact, there's a process called green cleaning where you can scrape the skin off of the gourd in the fall when it's just sort of starting to dry a little bit. You can scrape that off with like a peeler or a sharp knife, and then it won't get that mold on it. It'll dry, and sometimes it dries too quickly and cracks, but people who like to do pyrography on a gourd will sometimes green clean it to avoid having all that modeling to work with. Here's an example of, this is made by Jen Avery, and this is
Oh my
a
goodness.
gourd that can you see it okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that elephant, she did that by pyrography. So that's her whole thing that she does is burn on the gourds. And so she likes a really clean surface like that. Here's a couple of gourds that I did some pyrography on.
Would you explain pyrography?
Oh, pyrography just is burning, like wood burning,
Okay.
but we're burning on gourds. So a more general term for burning is
Those are
pyrography.
beautiful.
And I'm using a variety of pyrography tools. These plug into a little transformer thing and get really, really hot, and you can draw with them. Oh, while I'm showing you some other gourd art, other people's art, here's one from, this is,
Ooh.
there's a
Quite detailed.
he's Peruvian, but he lives in Maryland, and he's in the Pennsylvania chapter of the Gourd Society. And he goes into the gourd with a sharpened nail. And he probably can't see it, but there's like all these little stories happening there. It's like a little cartoon of his village.
Wait,
And
he cut with what?
he's got a sharp nail, and he hardly has to look at what he's doing. He's just, and then so he's got these little tiny carvings on the surface of the gourd. And then when he's all done carving, he takes this black paste and smears it over, and it sticks inside where he's scratched.
Wow.
And that's gorgeous.
It's so intricate.
Astonishing. Wow.
And while I'm thinking of it, yeah, the Pennsylvania Gourd Society is very active. New York State Gourd Society is active too. We have a lot of fun. We have workshops when COVID isn't happening, like once a month, and they're just fun and they're not expensive. But once a year, the people in the Pennsylvania Gourd Society put on a festival, and it's worth the trip. So all of the people in Pennsylvania, the gourd farmers come with big trucks full of gourds, and vendors come with all kinds of tools and inks and dyes and stuff, and you can take classes. It's a lot of fun. It's almost always the third weekend in June, but this year, just because they don't want to have to cancel again, they're doing it in August. And anybody who wants more information on that, I'd be glad to share. GIAC field trip down to Pennsylvania. Let's see, what time is it? I'm going too long. Oh my gosh.
I don't know, but I think you did a great job.
I gotta show you a few actual demonstrations though, right?
Okay.
Are you guys still with me?
I'm still with you.
Go ahead.
So this is just a little carving burr. Let's see. How's that? You see okay?
Yep.
Yeah. Perfect.
It's like a Dremel, but a little faster than a Dremel. Anyway, that's just how I make those pretty few boxes. And I wanted to show you, hold on, oh, here it is. I thought I would open this one up and show you what's on the inside.
That's gorgeous.
Nobody has ever seen what's on the inside of this ever before.
Right. Deep, dark secret.
When I make those little globe lights, I'm just poking holes with these things sometimes all day long. Oh, and I would have a mask on. I'm just not because I'm
Talking.
kind of in a hurry, but should always have a mask on when we're doing border. This is a
Little cutter.
it's a little jigsaw, a mini jigsaw.
Durable.
Yeah, it's adorable. That's what I think. It always gets thicker and a little harder. Sometimes when I break blades, it's usually up in this part of the board because it's thicker. It's not, this one has still got some mold on it. It's kind of surprising. But, yep, it's not always that easy. A lot of times there's a whole lot of scraping on the inside. And I use a variety of tools here. I've got, 4-steps and clay tools and all
Is this
kinds of
your
things.
equipment from when you were a midwife? Some of the
Exactly. That's right. That'll, this will be another, I'll spend, probably 10 or 15 minutes just cleaning out the inside of it. And then I'm gonna cut a similar opening on this side, and then it's a basket. It's a great big basket, so
Yeah.
you could use it for a centerpiece, that kind of thing.
Nice.
Really neat.
Very nice.
So that mass of material that you took out, that was the membranes of the inner gourd that dried up and,
It's full of seeds.
okay.
That has the seeds in it, right?
It's all full of seeds in there. I'd open it up and show you, but it looks like it's really dense, so it'll take a while.
So basically, it sounds like it takes about a year for the full cycle, right? Because you got to grow them and then,
Right, it takes,
Right.
from when I plant a seed to when I can work with it is about a year.
and you are just constantly getting back the seeds when you take out the insides of them, right? So it's kind of like,
I compost almost all the seeds that I run across.
oh, okay.
And I save seeds out of particular gourds. So I explained how we hand pollinate at night.
Mhm.
I forgot to tell you that the cucumber beetles love the lights. Just come in, like, because
Oh,
the
sure.
headlamps on and the cucumber beetles are, anyway, but most of the time we're just pollinating, doesn't matter where the pollen came from. But I'll also do some isolating of the flowers, so to prevent cross-pollination. There's these nifty little mesh bags, I'll show you. I get one of these little bags, and I go out at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm finding the female flower that's going to open that evening, and you can usually tell it's ready to open. And then I put that around it, and then I get some on the same plant, some male flowers that are about to open, and I isolate them, and then I come back at 10 o'clock at night or so and pollinate, and then close the female back up again. So that way I'm preventing any insects from carrying miscellaneous gourd pollen to that plant. So then I'm especially mark those gourds, right? And hope that the pollination worked really well. And lately I've been doing pretty well at saving true seeds. And every spring I have a big seed giveaway. So I would be happy to share some of my seeds with you guys. The best way to find out about the seed giveaway is to
What do you do with the seeds?
well, I plant them, but there's lots. So I do a giveaway. So I'm just basically giving away seeds to whoever wants. They send me a envelope. I get people asking for seeds from all over the country. I haven't been sending too many out of the country.
In Virginia, we used to make jewelry out of them as kids.
Oh yeah, because they're just
They're big.
they're big. So
Sometimes
anyway,
you might even want to make one pattern with the gourd seeds and another pattern with the watermelon seeds and make a combination necklace.
Graham, if you didn't pollinate them, what happens if you do pollinate a gourd and it doesn't work? I mean, does the gourd die? Is it in some way unusable?
Yes. Yeah, if the gourd isn't adequately pollinated, then it turns brown and shrivels, usually early on, but sometimes after already a lot of energy has gone into it. So When we see that starting to happen, we should cut it off.
Okay. Interesting.
Huh. Sounds lovely so far.
Sounds like you have to be a night owl because you're out there 10 o'clock at night pollinating the flowers, so,
Otto calls July, sleep deprivation month.
okay.
I have to tell you, when you were using the little saw, you really got the attention of my dog.
Oh, yeah.
And as you were
I
going,
know, I know who in the group's
were
gonna run out and
changing.
buy one of those right off the bat.
I noticed that the sounds were changing, and I was wondering, has anybody ever talked to you about maybe recording some of those sounds and using them musically?
That's interesting.
It was one point where the sound was really unusual and interesting.
When we're using these little drills.
That sounds like a dentist.
And I've got like a class of 10 people making night lights out of little gourds. Then the noise in here gets very interesting. And all the drills have a slightly different voice. It's pretty interesting. The night lights, I would say, are my most popular project. Takes about an hour. You start with a blank gourd, and you get, it's fit with a nightlight socket, and you just go to town and make any design you want.
Now, how do you put the initial design on the gourd? Did you just?
I use oil pastel. That's how I do it. And I just draw it on. People are always wanting to copy templates and stuff, but it gets too fussy for me. The shape of the gourd and the shininess, it's hard to actually just copy an image onto it. And also, for this project, we're making a design with a lot of little holes, spots of light. You can't get very, very detailed. It's a crude image at best, right? So, hold on a second. I'll see if I can show you.
So you do it all freehand? It looks so symmetrical. Is that just practice?
I think it depends on what you're talking about. I mean, I use, do you see those templates behind me here on the wall?
Oh, that's what those are. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Those are rubber templates. So I use,
Okay.
but I don't use, and well, sometimes I will, like with the lamps, I'll sometimes use little templates. I'll make myself something like that. I just wanted to show you these, I can't see it, the night lights I'm talking about. Can you see it, kind of?
Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that. Yeah.
Yeah.
What other questions do people have, or is there anything else that you would like to see?
You mentioned getting second place at the New York State Fair. Is gourd sculpture art and a competitive genre?
It wasn't one of the categories at all until one of my friends in the New York State Gourd Society said, "Hey, we should have a gourd category at the state fair." And yeah, her name's Terry Knoxville. She was the president of the New York State chapter, and she lives down in Windsor near Binghamton, and she is a go-getter. She's very involved in the National Gourd Society. Anyway, she made it happen. It's not very competitive yet, but now there's a category.
How long has the Gourd Society been around? Has that been around for decades, or?
Yeah, I think it started in the mid-20s, if I'm not incorrect.
Oh, wow.
Wow, so 100 years. Wow.
Wow, that's a long time.
I could be wrong. Bad with dates.
That is a long time. Well,
People have been working with gourds for a long time. I kind of feel like, in a way, I really do feel like I'm carrying on a tradition, and you know, 25,000 years of,
You showed us a lot of history and anthropology.
yeah.
Once, I think it was when I went up with the GIAC group, and I know in the Ithaca parade, sometimes you have your puppets. And I was wondering, have any like professional puppet troops bought your puppets and used them and for performance?
Well, no, I worked a little bit with Lily Gershon from the puppeteer thing in Ithaca here, and she we collaborated on our last the Ithaca Festival parade. And anyway, she came up with this very cool giant board puppet thing. Anyway, I hope to work with her again because she's very cool.
Yep.
I could go on and on. I'm just conscious of not using all your time.
Oh, well, it was lovely, Fran.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
Enjoyed it.
thank you, Graham.
Thank you.
It was great.
Does anybody have any suggestions for, you know, if I was to do this again, like, were the slides too long?
No.
No, it was great.
It's all very
It was
interesting.
great. It's perfect.
Only suggestion I can think of is that some of the bottom parts that you cut off could be sold as trivets.
Oh, interesting.
Up on that shelf in between the windows, is that like a dish that you made out of the bottom of the squarish kind of thing?
That squarish thing I just got recently. See it any? Oh, I'll get it. Show you. Colleen McCall is a local ceramicist who made this, and I got it because it's a prize for the gingerbread exhibition in the Rockwell Museum in Corning. And I will tell you the whole story, but I wrote it. I wrote it really well. I'm not a writer, but I wrote this story, and it's about my parents dying. Both my parents died last year, and I made a gingerbread thing in honor of my parents. If you can believe that, you got to go to my Facebook page.
Okay.
And read the story. You'll see it. There's a big shoe, and there's a story about my parents. And anyway, I got the Community Choice Award.
That's nice, boy.
That's a
I
whole
read
nother-
the story. It's sweet.
Thank you.
In our craft group, we mostly knit and crochet. And I was wondering if you have ever used any lace, whether crocheted or woven or whatever, as templates for your blooms.
Not, but that's a really interesting idea. I wonder if you could use it. If you could design one of those globe lights. Hold on a second. So something like this.
Oh, wow.
Ooh,
If
nice.
I wonder if I could use lace to design something like that with holes.
You
Yeah.
could.
Because when I look at it myself, I often think, oh, it looks a little bit like old lace or something. I don't know.
It does,
It
yeah.
reminds me something.
Yeah.
Yeah, people used to starch crochet and do things like that with it. Today you could use plastic, which would be healthier, I think, than the starch, last longer.
Neat.
Now that one is sort of like a little table lamp, right? It's
Yeah, it sits right on the.
base on it? Okay.
This is another class. I would say it's probably my second most popular. People just like drilling holes, and
And then how does it turn on? You have a,
there's a little switch.
oh, and switch on the wire. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Oh, turn it off again. Let's see it off. Oh, look at that.
Wow,
Wow. it's
Ooh.
great.
neat.
Nice.
Definite contrast.
What do you typically do with the big tall ones like in American Gothic?
Oh, I should show you this. I got to show you something. I don't know if you would say I typically do it. Can I share the screen again?
Yeah. Uh,
Tell me when it's okay.
all right. Should be now.
Okay. Okay, hold on. It's going to take me to talk amongst yourselves for just a moment here while I figure this out.
Oh, hey, Sally and Leslie. I
Yeah.
did get that Afghan off to my sister.
Oh,
Yay!
Yes.
Yay. Proud of
Found
you.
the box.
So I actually sent it FedEx because I wasn't too sure about the US mail right now, but
Right.
Did she get
was
it?
inspired by, they said tomorrow. Anyway,
Oh, okay.
I was inspired by Sally's recommendation of doing the reverse stitch. So I did end the edging with the reverse slip stitch. And it looked really nice. So
Good.
Oh, great.
It's really great.
thank you all. You know, by saying I have to get this done, I got it done. So
Oh,
great.
really
Good,
proud
good.
of you. That's
We
great.
would have asked you to report in next week.
Yeah. You gave her a pass this week.
I'm getting there.
You getting there?
Yeah, hold on. Got to show you this video.
Hey.
Okay, this is my Facebook page, and somewhere, oh, videos. Okay, here we go. Wait, it's not there yet. I got a couple of music ones here that are pretty good. Oh yeah, I told you
Here,
about
there.
the big puppet that Lily.
Oh, wow.
Barely
Oh,
Yes.
that's cool.
Hold on. All right, wait. This is what I got to show you. Oh, this takes a long time. I'm sorry. I don't know what it was trying to do. Never mind. I don't want to take you through that whole thing again. But there's a great didgeridoo. It's so great. The didgeridoo. You know what didgeridoo is, right?
Right.
Yeah. Oh, they came here and made some really cool didgeridoos at Gourdlandia out of
And
those
what is it?
long-handled dippers. It's a musical instrument.
that's
It's a
right.
musical instrument.
Typically used by the Aborigines in Australia.
That's
Okay. And they make them out of these gourds?
they make them out of these gourds.
Have you made any?
It takes a while. Okay, that's not a didgeridoo. That's the local capoeira group. It's a martial art thing that they use. Yeah, here's one I want to show you.
Wow.
Weird.
Isn't it weird? Anyway, that's one thing you can do with extra long-handled dipper gourds. It is a bit of a problem. I love to grow them because they're so cool, but there's not like a whole lot that I can do with them. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I've made musical instruments, not really instruments. This one, it's really a noisemaker more than an instrument.
A little kid would love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, some old guys might like it too.
So anyway,
Yeah.
if you're interested in that story, like I said, you can go to my Facebook page and find it there. And does anybody else have any other questions?
No, but I think your didgeridoo would make a great party favor.
Well, thank you so much for coming on and
Yes,
giving
great.
us this virtual tour. This was great. Really interesting stuff. Thank you so much.
Thanks very
Yeah.
much.
Thank you, Fran.
Thank you.
Yes.
So glad
Thank
that
you,
there
Fran.
is a craft group at GIAC. I love that. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we'll be
Oh,
up at some point
it's
when
nice.
we can.
All right.
Nice being with you.
Yes.
Bye.
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 Bye.